Morning, Brian.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good.
Good to see you.
You like Mia and these people getting cross-examined and grilled on the stand, or maybe some of the witnesses having inconsistencies in their statements, making claims about Diddy afterward that they didn't make in the beginning, and everybody still getting back with him after he this crazy person, but you still trying to get back around him.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Champ, aka Champion Style TV, aka Mr. Spin the Yard. I'm back with another one. Listen, before I get into anything, make sure you smash that like button, that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications. Today, I'm giving y'all a plethora of content. So, yesterday I had the pleasure of going to Diddy's trial. I was sitting in the second row next to his family and friends, and I was able to see firsthand what is going on in that courtroom, how the prosecution is dealing with the witnesses and Diddy as well, and how the defense is handling the witnesses and jury's reactions to certain things. And I also was able to witness a crazy rambunctious outburst from a woman that they titled the MTA lady. Before I get into my commentary, I'm gonna share something with y'all from the Law and Crime Network of what some of the press people in there witnessed, all right? Check it out.
Someone getting banned from court. Elizabeth, it's good to see you. Let's start with what happened here. So you're in court. What did somebody say? And also, I understand somebody else is now banned from being in that courtroom. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, so Jesse, this happened first thing this morning. It was outside of the presence of the jury. We were actually talking, or not we, as far as the press is going, but the arguments were about Mia's testimony and possibly introducing some jail calls. So I was listening, taking notes, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing screaming going on. And it's from a woman who we've been kind of noticing has been causing a couple of troubles here and there, just as far as court goes. She was removed from the overflow room during jury selection, and she was removed from the main courtroom today during these arguments. And so I'm writing down my notes, I'm jotting everything down, but even just the backstory of this particular woman, we in the press have been referring to her as the MTA lady. It's not necessarily confirmed whether or not she actually works for MTA, but she always kind of comes in with an MTA jacket, and that's how we kind of have remembered her. So I'm just going to give you guys the low that we had kind of had bets with amongst us in the press just about how long it would take before something like this were to happen again, because we were thinking that she would cause trouble just right off the bat. And then lo and behold, it didn't take very long for her to kind of stir up some trouble and for the marshals to escort her out. So from what I heard, it was just cussing, it was yelling, mainly from her. And then I saw just 4 marshals just try to grab her. She was saying things along the lines of, oh, use your gun against me, that type of thing. And she was threatened, I believe, with the taser, but that didn't happen. We didn't see any of that. And so from our understanding is after this incident, after kind of the marshals escorted her outside of the courtroom, as far as what was going on inside for the judge, he went back to business as usual. But from my understanding, she was just kind of dismissed from the courthouse.
All right, now, I was there yesterday when this lady made the outburst, right? They do call her the MTA lady. I didn't know nothing about this. So before the jury came in, I'm sitting, like I said, in the second row, and I heard a voice. And then I heard, fuck you, cracker. Fuck out of here, you cracker. Y'all not gonna tell me nothing. Y'all in here laughing and joking at this black man pain. Fuck all of y'all. If I had a dick, I'd tell y'all to suck it. She was going ham, like ham, right? And what wound up happening is, of course, the court officers and marshals, they like, you need to leave. And she wasn't trying to leave. So they grabbed her up and a struggle ensued. Right, she's backing up. She handling like 3 of them. I ain't gonna hold you in the back of the courtroom, toward the exit, and she's handling them. But they, wound up grabbing her and getting her out of there. Now I'm looking at Diddy to see his reaction, and I'm not gonna lie, Diddy was kind of happy. Not happy that she was being removed, but he was more so happy that, like, damn, somebody's actually here speaking out in my defense. I guess all this time that he's been going through this trial situation, he probably feels like there's not a lot of people speaking out for him in his situation. But this lady was going crazy. She's like, y'all not gonna keep laughing at this black man pain. He is a king. He's done so much for the culture. All this is bullshit. She was just going ham, and they wound up escorting her out. But check out this little short interview that I did with her after I left the courtroom that day. It's right here. Go watch it right now.
we had too many.
What's good, everybody? I'm here with Jacqueline
Everybody got
Williams.
in, so
Williams.
there was no
Okay,
need.
I was in the courtroom earlier.
I was asking about that.
When you were there, and I see you. You know, you had some things to say while you were in the courtroom. What sparked that outrage that you had in the courtroom?
The spark was the final straw today when I got to see Diddy for the first time in person ever in my entire life. And
Really? I didn't know that.
yes, and I've been in the courtroom every day except for last Thursday and Friday and yesterday. It's from May 5th, 2025, and I've been in every floor overcrowd room, and it's always shites and giggles. It's always someone joking, testimony, just joking. Like, there shouldn't be any laughing matter when it comes to a black man's legacy being destroyed. There shouldn't be anything. That's like my mother. It timed out, right?
No.
Okay. That's like my mother coming to court and I'm facing 30 years to life, and my sisters and my brothers are laughing while people are testifying about baby oil or whatever, right?
Right.
Like, it's sad. Like, my mother is coming every day to court and people are laughing at me.
What was it that you seen in the courtroom this morning that made you say that? What happened exactly?
Well, the first thing is that the marshal asked me to take my hat off, and women are not they don't need to take their hat off in the courtroom. Like, men are required to take their hat off in the courtroom.
Right.
So I've gone through this about, I'd say, 3 times with the marshals here. And I've had to come downstairs and complain to the marshals where we get our phones, pick up our electronics. I've had to complain. So my hat is not supposed to have to be removed
Right.
while in the courtroom. I've come downstairs and complained. They say, oh, Miss Williams can wear her hat. Men are the only people required to take their hat off. Love you, P. Today, he decides, this one tells me, take it off, and he doesn't want to have to, if he has a conversation with me a 3rd time, I'm removed from the courtroom. So I said, all right, so I'm just talking mess under my breath. I'm keeping it to myself. I pull out my book, I got my book, I'm like, I'm gonna read it. I just bought it from You and Me Books across the street. I'm putting it all to the side. I'm putting out my Sharpie. I'm writing out my business cards. I drew a thing of Diddy. This is my little, and I wrote at the time, weird creeper USMS with gun equals USMS with gun. I wrote that at the time because I'm like, I'm not gonna say nothing to him out loud.
Right.
And this is the back of Diddy. That's how I pictured his little portrait.
Right.
The salt and pepper hair I tried, the collar shirt, and he had on the same color I have on my hat.
Right.
Was the sweater, and I tried to get his angles the way his arms was when he was facing it, and those are all the creases in his sweater.
Right.
So then I looked at my time, and I said, oh, I have a dentist appointment at 11 o'clock. I need to get out of here. So I say, later, y'all, I gotta go. Packed up, made sure I was walking out. It was quiet. And then the same one asking me about my hat was holding the door open for me.
Right.
I said, you don't need to hold the door for me, you racist.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And that's what sparked it.
Right. You know, Puff was feeling that, right? You didn't see his reaction after you left, obviously. But
No.
when you walked out, he was turning around and looking, and he was like, he was smiling.
Yeah.
He was smiling, and he was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Because you know that's how he feel too. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
he's under the thumb right now. So he was definitely. I think he was definitely appreciative of the outburst.
I learned
Because he can't do that right now.
he can't do that, but he taught the essence of Black love.
Right.
F It Friday. He taught the essence of. He got better.
Right.
Over the years, from '93, he got better. Like, you see a transformation of a human being, a black man, to black excellence, just up.
Yep.
He went from getting Dawn and the rest of them run for cheesecake across Brooklyn Bridge right here,
Yep.
to making Mike lose weight on a treadmill, to getting everybody to excellence. Where do you think this excellence stems from? I'm born in 1980. It's a must that we represent Black Americans well and Black excellence.
All right, y'all seen that? Those are her words. That's how she felt, and I guess she's gonna continue to get kicked out. I don't know how she continues to get back in, but that's beyond me. I believe, like what this lady said on the Law and Crime Network just now, that is because people are making bets. So people are in there making money, like the court officers, the marshals, the press, whoever, making bets like, let's see if she gonna spaz out today. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Champion Style, aka Champ, aka Mr. Spin the Yard. Listen, I have a question for y'all. Are y'all tired of uploading to YouTube and getting no views, or posting to social media with zero visibility? Well, Wham Promotions is the go-to team for music artists, podcasters who want real, measurable growth. From YouTube to Instagram and Spotify, they help you get seen, heard, and paid. I'll say that again, they help you get paid. All right? Are y'all ready to level up your platform? Then visit whampromotions.com. That's WAMM promotions.com. And use the code SPINTHEYARD, SPINTHEYARD, for a 10% off of your first order. Tap in with Wham Promotions today. Salute. I got this on that, I got that on that, and that's why I believe she continues to be let back in. But anyway, I want to get back to, first of all, when I got there, I didn't have to wait online. My contact got there in time and we walked right in. Before we walked in, I was able to see Brian, who was the head attorney on Diddy's trial. And, you know, we said hello, and him and my contact had a conversation or whatever off to the side, and then we all went inside of the courtroom. We went inside of the court building. We got in there, you gotta, you know, give them everything, your watch, if you got a Apple Watch or whatever, a smartwatch, your phone, cameras, laptop, whatever. You gotta give them everything, you gotta take your belt off. The whole shebang going through, you know, going through the court system. We got upstairs, we met some people up there as far as press from ABC, CBS, all the news networks, and even some of the big blogs and stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie, the marshals don't play in there. Like, you can't go in there, you can't even chew gum. You can have water, but you can't chew gum, nothing. You cannot speak in there. It is totally inadmissible for you to talk, like vocally. You have to literally take your pad and write a note to the person sitting next to you in order for them to, in order to communicate. So if you did talk or whatever, the marshal was like, yo, you gotta go. They kicking you up out of there. But anyway, I get there. The first thing that was taking place before the jury came in was motions. So in my notes I have here, the first motion that the defense was trying to get off in their favor for Diddy was speaking on Casey's video, right? The video of Diddy assaulting her at the hotel. And what they were saying is that it shouldn't be admissible because of the timestamps. So what they were saying is that the timestamps on the video are different because it's coming from different angles. And the defense felt like that wasn't solid enough to go into evidence because it's the wrong chronological order. Like, they put the prosecution put a compilation together of the actual video, and it comes out to like 10 minutes and 58 seconds. But the real video all together, when you get it from every single angle, is really 40-something minutes. So the defense argued that because it was edited, it was cut, it was chopped, it's coming from different angles, it's different timestamps, there's no real chronological order, it should not be admissible as evidence for the prosecution to display to the jury. Unfortunately, the judge denied it. And didn't let that happen, and the prosecution had a strong argument on their side. Supposedly today, Wednesday, the prosecution is supposed to put it together in a chronological format that will display the events that took place from Cassie leaving the room all the way until the security, because they want cameras from everywhere, like the security guy, Eddie Garcia, going and getting the video, going to meet Puff, allegedly at a different location to pick up money and give him the video. They are trying to put all of that in a chronological order in order to show it to the jury. So we're gonna find out today, Thursday. Today's June 5th, I believe, June 4th. Let me see. Yeah, June 4th. If the judge is gonna allow that to be admissible with the new chronological order edits. Another thing that was spoken about, well, like I said, was the wild outbursts and stuff like that from the whatchamacallit, the MTA lady, as they call her. So the first witness that came after the jury came in, what surprised me too was that there was a jury of like 16. I didn't know that's how they did it in the Southern District or the federal court, but it was like 16 people on the jury. I thought it was supposed to be 12. And what I'll say is that it was mixed racially, right? It wasn't one side as far as race is concerned. You had about 3 white men, you had about 3 Latin men, you had, I say, two young white women, 1 older white woman. You had about 4 black men and like 3 black women, from what I've seen. But the first witness was Eddie Garcia, right? Now, Eddie Garcia is the guy who retrieved the tape at his job at the Intercontinental Hotel of Diddy putting his hands on Cassie. So the way it went was this, according to Eddie Garcia's testimony. The situation happened, right? When the situation happened, Eddie Garcia contacted his supervisor. I don't remember his name, so don't get me to freestyling, but it's out there. He contacted the security, the head of security, his supervisor, and said, yo, you know, you had this situation happen, whatever the case may be. And his security, his supervisor told him, like, yo, listen, we take our clients or the people that stay at our hotel privacy seriously. So he was basically saying, like, yo, we're not putting that out there, nothing like that. But the same day, Diddy's assistant, Christina, called Eddie. She called the hotel and Eddie picked up the phone. And she said, Diddy, wasn't really in his right mind. He was a little lit, and he doesn't remember what happened or whatever. So, we need to get that tape. And he was like, Eddie, according to Eddie, this is according to him, not me. He said, I'm sorry, but I can't relinquish that video because it's policy at the hotel that whatever we have on our security cams, unless you get a subpoena from the law enforcement or something or the courts, I cannot just give this to you. So they got off the phone. He said she called back again, and this time when she called back, Diddy was on the line. And Diddy started referring to this guy as Eddie, my angel, right? I don't know why, but he's calling him Eddie, my angel. So he's telling him, like, yo, listen, you know who I am. This could really fuck up my career and stuff like that. And he said again, Eddie supposedly said again, yo, listen, there's nothing I could do. You got to get a subpoena, this, that, and the third. So now he hangs up the phone with him. He calls his supervisor back and he says to his supervisor, like, yo, this dude is really going hard. Diddy called me and he's going hard about getting this video. So his supervisor told him, tell Diddy I want $50,000 for the video. So Eddie was like, you sure that's what you want me to do? He said, yeah, tell him I want $50,000 for the video. We'll give him the tape or whatever. So he said, we'll put it on the flash drive for him. So he calls Christina back, Diddy's assistant, with Diddy on a call as well. And he says, yo, listen, I'll get you the video, but my supervisor wants $50,000. Puff was ecstatic, according to Eddie. Yo, I say no more, Eddie, you my angel. Thank you so much. All right, we gonna make this happen. Go ahead, get it for me, and I'm gonna give you an address, a way to meet me at. This is all in LA, right? So Eddie goes down to the database or whatever. He retrieves the video, puts it on the flash drive, tells his supervisor, yo, I'm about to go meet this dude, Diddy, and go give him the tape or whatever. He told him, yo, make sure you get the bread, whatever the case may be. Eddie goes to some location 15, 20 minutes away from the hotel to meet Diddy. He said when he gets there, he lets Diddy know he's downstairs. A security guard, one of Diddy's security guards come downstairs and escort him. He's saying the whole time that he's being escorted, he's nervous. He's scared, he's shook. He goes upstairs, Diddy's in there with the assistant Christina and the bodyguard. And they talking, he like, yo, how you feeling, man? Yo, this is a good thing you doing. This is what Diddy's saying, according to Eddie. How you doing? Yo, you doing a good thing. You really, really helping me out. You know what I'm saying? If you need anything from me at all, just let me know, and I got you. So the dude, Eddie's like, okay. And then Diddy said, what are you gonna do with the money? He was like, I don't know yet. He said, well, don't make no big purchases. That's what Diddy supposedly told him. So he said Diddy went and got a money counter and put it on the table and came out with a brown paper bag full of cash, and he started, putting money in a money machine, $10,000 at a time, and counting it. And then he realized that Diddy was giving him $100,000 instead of 50, right? So he finished counting the money. He was like, you want to count it? Diddy said, you want to count it yourself? He said, nah, I trust you. So then Diddy went into a room, came back out with an NDA. That's a non-disclosure agreement for Eddie to sign. So Eddie said he didn't look at it because he was nervous, he was scared, he just wanted to get out of there. So he signed it and dated it and everything without reading it. Diddy then, he takes the money, Diddy then has they all leave together and go downstairs. And when they go downstairs, Eddie said he waited in his car a little while and was looking in his rear view to see if he was gonna be followed or whatever the case may be, which he wasn't. So he hit his supervisor like, yo, I'm on my way back, I got the bread. He goes back to work. So instead of him giving, well, what he did was he gave, according to him, his supervisor $50,000. He kept $30,000, and $20,000 he gave it to another security guy that worked at the hotel that actually went to the scene. Like if you looked at the video, there's a guy in the hallway after the whole situation happened with Diddy and Cassie. So he gave that guy 20 bands, he kept 30. The prosecution and defense asked, like, what did you do with the money? He was like, I just bought a used car. And they was like, you used the card or cash? He said, I used cash to buy the used car, whatever the case may be. So that was his testimony. The thing that my overall judgment and opinion about it was that, first of all, Eddie got immunity, right? So he can't be charged with anything bribery-wise or be a part of the RICO case because he has immunity. So as far as him being a credible witness, what I think is that he's not really credible in the fact that it's his word against Puff's, because they don't have any footage as of now. I don't know, but they don't have any footage of Puff actually giving him the money. They got the NDA, right? The DA, the prosecution had a copy of the NDA, but the NDA never says that Puff paid him money. It just states that he can't say certain things unless he is subpoenaed by the court of law or police force to speak about whatever the case may be. So now, that's number one. He doesn't have legs to stand on in that they can't physically prove that Puff handed him that cash. It ain't like Puff Zelled it or Cash App it. There's no trace of it. All they have is that NDA and what Eddie is saying. Another thing is that the defense was able to point out how Eddie was a dishonest person, right? Like how he initially wasn't going to do it, right? He initially kept saying, no, I don't want to, you can't do this, it's against the hotel policy, this, that, and the third. But then he still wound up doing it, right? Going against hotel policy and retrieving the video and essentially selling it to Puff via his supervisor, right? So they was like, if you're doing dishonest stuff like that, how can we trust that what you're saying is truth, right? That's what the defense said. So that was the first witness, Eddie Garcia. He was very nervous the whole time he was up there on the stand, which had me kind of laughing inside, because he kept looking at Diddy like his eyes kept moving at Diddy and Diddy just looking like straight at him. You know what I mean? With that look. That shit was funny, but that was the first witness. Make sure you check out the part 2 video of me talking about Derek Ferguson, the former CFO of Revolt TV and the former COO of Bad Boy Entertainment. Another thing I want to say real quick is that Puff looks very old, right? You can tell that this situation is stressing him out. He has grays everywhere, full gray beard, gray fade going on up top. The clothes that they got him wearing is like some real Bill Cosby looking shit, like brown V-neck, regular khakis and stuff like that. His hands was kind of ashy, you know what I'm saying? Like he looks like he's not being upkept well. You know what I mean? Because he's not in his natural environment. But listen, check out part 2 so I can show y'all how I break down Derek Ferguson's witness testimony to the DA and to the defense. Salute.